stage, for Singapore? If yes, put in the chart, yes. If you think no, don't worry, put in the chart, no, also can one. No need to be everything yes one. Yes or no, put into the chat. I want to see who is engaging with me. Okay, let's see. What do you think? Are we in the recovery stage or not? Okay, so thanks for your engagement. So I think in terms of the economy, we always talk about the economy first. I think, yes, you're absolutely right. We are poised towards growth already, okay? I think we have all been through the pandemic, 2020, 2021. And I think moving forward, there's a very clear signal where the economy is heading by our government. Okay, so the first point I want to touch is this. Okay, why should we actually buy, and invest in this period of time? What kind of position are we taking up now? Okay, so the first position is this. We want you to position for profit because of the reopening of the economy, right? So what's better than this, right? So we've already been through whatever we've been through. We have suffered whatever we can, but now I think it's time that we reopen the economies, right? So if you look back, this year in April, there was an article. Okay, there was an article by the MAS. Okay, these are little things maybe you can pick up later. There was an article by MAS in April this year. They actually say that we could actually exceed 6% in terms of our GDP growth this year, 2021. And of course, what does all this signal, right? Why would even MAS dare to say 6%? Usually economies, GDP growth are between 2 to 3%, but this time around they said 6%, right? So that was in April. So if you guys actually go into the fine prints of all this, when you take a look at all this, actually, at then if you were to, just buy something, I believe, you probably be sitting on some good profits already. Okay, so why do I say that? So take a look at the date, okay, 28th of April. Then today, I want to make it very live, right? Then today, okay, if you look at the newspaper by Straits Times, you can flip it. So today, Straits Times actually mentioned again, that we have going to be having a GDP growth of 4.1% next year. Now, why is all this interesting? Because if you look at the fine prints, I try to zoom in already. If you look at the fine print, you can see that in 2021, okay, it hasn't ended yet. Our GDP growth has already exceeded 6.3% already, right? So I think as a government level, they will probably already have all these stats in their brain, right? They already have all the scholars down there already know what's going to happen. So if you look at it, we're already 6.3 this year, and next year, they're projecting 4.1. So all this, how does all this relate? Okay, with the growth of the economy, I think there will definitely be growth in the property market as well, right? So of course, it's not direct growth, but I think there's always effects, where we have a good positive GDP growth. Okay, and with all this growth, okay, you can see, okay, what's more that the government is doing, right? So government, as you can see, they're already easing, border measures, right? These are all very recent news, right? So from travel lanes, from Germany, Brunei, I think they are like, trying to having without stay home notice, right? With immediate effect from people from Hong Kong, from Germany, Brunei, so on and so forth. Okay, I think moving forward, we will only see more and more of this. Okay, although today numbers are going up, but I think we know government has already planned in, factored in, which is more important. So with where the market be heading, right? Where would the market, especially in property, where would it be heading? So you can see that a lot of high net worth individuals actually pick Singapore for a reason, right? So they're buying up a lot of luxury homes. So this market will actually be the first to pick up when the economy recovers, right? So all these 1.5 years, all this demand, comes a lot from the local demand. But once the economy starts to reopen, you will see more and more, foreign demand, which will also in turn push our local demand. Okay, so now why Singapore, right? Singapore, of course, as we know it, is one of the world's most politically stable place in Singapore. Okay, whether whatever you can say about Singapore, end of the day, in the eyes of a foreigner, okay, we are very, very stable. Okay, and of course, in terms of investments, we are also less risky, right? So a lot of times they want to put money into Singapore. You can see that our foreign direct investments actually doubled, over the past 8 years. Okay, so a lot of monies from overseas, they're coming to Singapore, because we are safe. Okay, I think this is everybody knows that already. Okay, so we are one of the safest countries all around the world. Okay, so you can see, sometimes it doesn't need Singapore to do too much or so, right? So whatever you see outside, just make Singapore stand out even more. Okay, so this is something that I really take pride in. Not just we are selling, especially when we are selling luxury properties. Take note, it's not just about the property itself. It's also able to shine Singapore. Okay, so Singapore is an important element in terms of the luxury market. And of course, our vaccination rates, we are at high of 82%, right? Singapore is small and it's very easy to control, right? So whenever there are things that need to be rolled out, I think, Singaporeans also very compliant, right? So we will actually take heed. And of course, all this in the eyes of a foreigner, to them, it's very safe for them, not very predictable. Okay, so this is the kind of stats that you're looking at. We have 82% vaccination rates. And what does all this imply? What does all this imply? What are the implications? Okay, so when more and more people are vaccinated, okay, borders will start to reopen, right? Reopen. Okay, so when it reopens, which is the country that you want to go holiday? Can you type in the chat now? Which one? Type in the chat. So when borders reopen, there'll be countries that you want to travel to right now. Okay, even from overseas, when the borders reopen, a lot of them wants to come into Singapore. I have a lot of clients saying, Alex, I really want to come to Singapore and I want to stay here, plan long term because of our medical care and things like that. Okay, so some say Paris, some say Japan. Okay, we've been in Singapore for so long, I forgot that I still have my luggage somewhere already. Okay, so yes, definitely I believe the borders will slowly reopen. And with that, right, there will be a lot of demands for our private homes again. Okay, so don't wait until then. Okay, as mentioned many times during my trainings, certain things are pretty much predictable. Okay, today you can see where we are. Okay, there can only be one way only when the borders reopen. Okay, and with that, it will actually push up prices. This is just one of the reasons why we should all stand by for this border reopening, and of course the economy in terms of its GDP's growth. Okay, so this is a very, very strong element for you to just let your clients understand. Okay, we are only poised for growth. Okay, if you think what I'm saying is true, just type 10 again, because now it's perfect 10. I must have a 10, just for some engagement. Okay, good. Now, this is the first reason. Now, what is the second reason? Now, Singapore is so shiny, right? Singapore is a shining star in Southeast Asia. So when people look into Singapore, I believe you guys have been serving your high net worth clients, foreign clients, PRs. When they look into Singapore, okay, where are the places that will shine most, right? In Singapore, which districts do you think? When they come to Singapore, I only want to buy district. Okay, type in the chat. There are only a few districts right now. Maybe 9, 10, 11, right? So that's why, location again is important. Okay, so our CCR, this time around, you guys know, Perfect 10 is located right in the heart, of District 10, okay, along Bukit Timah. And I think I also like to say it's very near Orchard, right? So it's only 1 kilometers to Orchard. So this is how near it can get. Okay, why is the CCR important? Because as an investor, right, today, if you're going to invest in London, you're going to invest in Malaysia, for example, I think as a foreigner, we also want to invest in somewhere that is stable. True or not? Stable. So to them, stability in Singapore is all in the prime CCR. Okay, District 9, 10, 11, and not only that, the CCR also gives them a kind of a pride of prestige, right? There's a pride of prestige when they're actually buying something in Singapore. They can tell their friends, hey, I have a property in District 9, 10, 11. So these are the things that accompany with the CCR location. Again, of course, high ends are usually more resilient, right? This category of people, they're usually not so affected by market fluctuations, okay? Because they always have the capabilities to wait out. Okay, this category of buyers, you won't see so much fluctuation compared to investment properties. Okay, so investment properties, when the market change, price will also be affected. But I think in the luxury segment, as we can see all these years, it's not so, what we call that, not so, it's not so affected by market conditions. Okay, and of course, ultimately, luxury properties are always low in supply. Okay, so it's always low in supply. So if you compare the CCR to the RCR and the OCR, so this is where we stand. So the CCR is still the lowest among all segments. And of course, in the CCR, you also have to break down the District 9, 10, 11. So from there, your clients actually have a very limited supply, right? So when supply is low, what does it mean? When supply is low, okay, in terms of economics, okay, price usually will be higher, right? So because there's always low in supply. Okay, and also this is a recent article about luxury transactions. Today is at its 10 years high. Okay, today, 2012, it is at its 10 years high at 7.5 billion. Okay, 7.5 billion. To put it in context, in year 2010, 10 years ago, okay, it had only 2.4 billion, and that was the highest ever. Okay, so for those who are in this industry for maybe more than 10 years, if you think that was a very good run, you can see that now today, we have tripled in terms of luxury transactions. We're not talking about, RCR or OCR. We're just talking about luxury itself. So I think this, again shows confidence where the money is going. Okay, where the money is going, it's flowing into which kind of segments. Okay, and also if you look at it, okay, who are the buyers, right? Who are the buyers during this first half of this year itself, from January to June? Okay, you can see that most of the buyers today compromises of Singaporeans, and not so much of the foreigners and even the PRs. So a good 80%, right? 79% are actually local Singaporeans. Okay, because why? There are a few reasons. Number one, these Singaporeans, they understand that they are positioning themselves, right? Waiting for the next upside. This can be one reason. Second reason is because the foreigners, they are not in yet. That's why you see that, how come it's still Singaporeans? Okay, because the foreigners, they're not in yet. Now, if you look at the chart, okay, this is a 11-year chart. Now, I just want to zoom into before the pandemic. Okay, so if you look at 2019, 2018, 2017, okay, the yellow actually indicates foreign demand. Okay, yellow indicates foreign demand. So you can see, usually foreigners, compared to the red is the Singaporean. So foreigners usually stand around 20-30%, usually 25 to 30% in the CCR. Okay, if you look at 2018, you can see, wow, there's so much foreigners compared to Singaporeans. Okay, even in years of they just had the ABSD and things like that. Foreigners also stand like 20% to 22%. Now, this was before the pandemic. And then, of course, if you look at last year and this year alone, okay, foreigners actually purchase lesser, right? Naturally, because they are not coming to Singapore. But you can see a very big chunk of demand comes from the local Singaporeans, which is the red. But if you compare in terms of the percentage, okay, foreigners based on this year is only 7.8. Last year was only 12%. So can you see that we are actually way, way underpriced, okay, in terms of demand from the foreigner? Okay, when it comes in, you can see naturally, I believe without the pandemic, you will see all this yellow shooting up very fast. This will actually again push the demand and prices in the CCR segment. Okay, so this is to show your clients that, Mr. Client, you can see that foreigners are not in yet. By the time they're in, I think prices will be very, very different. Don't you agree? Okay. So this is how you can actually speak to your buyers. And then we look at another chart. Okay. So basically, these are since the 2018. So before the pandemic until today, you can see the OCR has went up quite a lot in price. OCR went up by 11.6%. RCR went up by 16.4%. This is a lot of our local own stay demand, right? That's why it pushes up prices. But now let's look at CCR. Okay, it probably didn't appreciate much, right? Maybe 1.5% there, about hovering. Okay, so what can you say for this, right? We can say that the CCR home prices growth actually lags behind the RCR and the OCR. Okay, so if you can see, if OCR and RCR continues to appreciate, I think the RCR can shoot up very fast with it. Okay, so this is something that you can stand by, because a lot of buyers, they say, Alex, I want to buy during the lowest point. Who wants to buy during the lowest point? Just put a low. Who want to buy the lowest point? Put low. Okay, put in the chat low. Okay, clients always say, I want to buy low. I want to buy low, right? I want to buy low. Yes, Mr. Client. So I will always tell them, Mr. Client, look at it. You are buying at its low now for the CCR segment. Okay, no doubts about it. Okay, and there's only one way to go. Okay, so this is how that you can actually translate to the client to show them statistics. Why are they actually buying low today? Okay, so this is something that you can actually explain to them. Okay, so CCR, this is something that I want you guys to position yourself with. Okay, now number 3. Now third point. So first point, I talk about the opening of the economy, right? Second point, talk about CCR, price lagging behind. And third, another important factor to highlight is that what we are buying today, it's a freehold, right? So today, if given a choice, which one will you buy, right? Freehold or 99? Put in the chat now. Freehold or 99, if given a choice, right? If given a choice. So you see again, okay, if given a choice as a foreigner, if they come in to Singapore, they want to preserve their wealth. Sometimes no matter how you convince them, also cannot convince them, right? Now, we have all those, diehard fans for freehold, right? Because that's their belief system. It's not easy to change, right? So yes, okay, if given a choice, I would also buy a freehold if I can afford it, right? So, and it's also important to take note, okay, of this thing called the lease decay. Okay, a lot of times, yes, we may not zoom into the future so far, 99 years, maybe we are not around already. But again, these are again issues that most Singaporeans face. Okay, if you look at the SLA, if you really look at the SLA charts, I think you guys have heard about it once, but I just want to share with you again, right? SLA actually has a way to calculate, in terms of its value of the land, right? So along the way, things get en bloc, yes, we understand. So there is this table called the 𝗣𝗘 table. Don't ask me why is it called 𝗣𝗘 table. So there is a table that actually indicates, as time goes by, a 99-year, there will be a tail end. Okay, there will be a tail end of the property's lifespan, right? Things get old. Okay, this is how the government actually values, freehold versus leasehold. Okay, so these are things that maybe it's not easy to comprehend, but the thing is this: the whole idea is to share with you that freehold holds so much value. If they don't understand the meaning of freehold, you ask them to, you can actually look at a freehold is probably similar category as a 999. So if you compare a 999, okay, versus a 999, how many times is it? Put inside the chat. So if you compare, I say again, if you compare a 999 versus a 999, okay, how many times of value is a freehold worth? Can you just type in the chat, right? 399 versus 999. Okay, let me see the chat. Anyone typing? Okay, yes, 10 times. Wow, see, perfect 10 times. Okay, 999 is 10 times the value. Just put it in perspective. Okay, yes, okay, they are buying a very valuable property. Okay, so this is how I would actually, share with my clients. Okay, and also take note. Okay, for those who know, good. Those who don't know, I just want to reiterate. The government has actually mentioned, okay, they will not sell any more freehold lands. Okay, the government will only sell 99-year lease, what we call our GLS, government land sales. So forever moving forward, okay, I cannot say forever, maybe they change policy, but as of today, they already mentioned moving forward, they will not be selling any more freehold land. They will only sell 99 years. Okay, so everything that you have today, example, condos like Perfect 10, it is because somebody bought it en bloc, and then you have a brand new condominium, and then it's a freehold. Okay, if not, you will probably only get old properties, right? So this is something that you need to take note. So government will only sell a 99-year lease, and of course, there will not be any more freehold or even 999. Okay, so this is how scarce it gets. So this is how scarce it gets. And also during the en bloc, this past 3 years, okay, so during the en bloc fever, you can see most of the en blocs are also a 999. 80% are all 999s. Freehold, maybe because the owners there are a bit richer, right? Or maybe they think their property is worth more. They try not to sell it, So that's why you will see the lesser freeholds being en bloc as well. Okay, so during the en bloc fever in the 2017 to 2019, you can see that there's only 8,000 freeholds or 999s being en bloc compared to a 35,000 999-year leaseholds. Okay, so again, demand and supply, right? So great opportunity to accumulate wealth through freeholds. Okay, so this is again to show you the scarcity of freehold. Okay, and this one I took out from the IERA analytics. Who use IERA analytics? Do you all use or say yes? I'll take a screenshot and I show Mr. Marcus Chu that you all use. Okay, do you all use your IERA now? Okay, if you do, okay, this is a chart that I took it out from there. It's in our app. Okay, if you were to compare, okay, since 2010 all the way to today, okay, if you have bought a freehold compared to a 999 leasehold, you can clearly see that Freehold is a clear winner, especially in the CCR. So I actually got this chart out from IERA, so I'm surprised of this percentage as well. But you can see that the blue line represents leasehold and the green line represents freehold. You can see sometimes the blue lines always fluctuate, good, bad, like a heart attack like that. So, but if you want to take freehold, you can see it's stable, pretty much more stable. Okay, so this is a chart over 10 years. Okay, so who would like to buy a freehold? Wow, raise your hand. Freehold. Wow, freehold is really something we should always aspire to own. Okay, so good. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, thank you. And of course, for freeholds, okay, it's a bit more immune to the depreciation of the leasehold property, which I mentioned to you as time goes by because of the age, because of the Bala table, there's always depreciation. So if you look at a 99-year-old leasehold, technically, just based on technicalities, don't you agree that it's depreciating 1% every year because it's 99 years, right? So 99 years, technically, every year is supposed to depreciate by 1%. Of course, there's market forces, there's inflation that will change the whole ball game. But in terms of technicality, in terms of freeholds, you're immune to depreciation. Okay, you have less pressure to consider selling. That's why you can see that freehold properties seldom get en bloc because owners want to hold longer. Okay, and of course, there's more future value. We won't know how far it will go, but because it's rare, I think there's going to be more greater value in terms of the potential in future. And of course, it's an assurance for future generations, right? So a lot of foreigners, they come in, they try and buy freehold, with the intention of passing on to their next generation. Okay, so in terms of value, we have drawn out CCR over the past 11 years. We actually held a bit more value, okay, than leasehold. Not that leasehold is not good, but I think it's all about affordability. If the client can afford, we always, try to get them to buy whatever, they can afford right now. So if they cannot afford, no choice, they go to a 99. If not, they can actually buy a freehold. Yeah, I hope this is a good thing for you. Now, I want to move on to the next. So before I do that, are you still awake now? Let me see. If you're still awake, just press the raise hand button. Yeah, I need some engagement. Really, I need some engagement. Every engagement gives me energy to share more, share with more passion. Okay, share more passion. Okay, so thank you. Now, my fourth point is this. Okay, why are people actually buying properties in Singapore? Right? They say, hey, Singapore property is so expensive. Why should you buy? Wow, the yield is so low. Right now, you always hear this kind of comments. Right now, a lot of concerns. So actually, one of the reasons they are buying is because they are profiting from a low holding cost. Okay, it's called Singapore has a low holding cost. Maybe I'll just show you one chart so that you can understand a bit better. Okay, so Singapore has a low long-term holding cost. What do I mean by that? Okay, so for example, okay, you can see Singapore. Okay, let's look at Singapore. So the dark blue is actually the cost of buying. So you say, yes, Singapore is pretty expensive if you compare to the rest of the cities, right? We are just slightly below Hong Kong and Vancouver. So in terms of buying, which is your entry level, okay, we need to have like $1 million, $2 million to buy, right? Overseas, maybe, you only need 500,000 to buy, okay? This is what we call affordability. So the cost of buying is high. Now, if you look at the light blue is actually your holding cost, okay? The light blue is actually holding cost. So what do I mean by holding cost? Holding costs are things, for example, you have your interest rates, you have your maintenance fees, you have your property tax, okay? All these are what we call holding costs. And if you compare to Vancouver, it's so much higher, right? Hong Kong, slightly higher. If you look at Tokyo, they have very high holding costs. So that means if you don't sell, you're going to incur a lot of cost while you hold. Okay, so in terms of Singapore, yes, you buy high, but if you don't sell, you just continue to hold. I think in terms of expense, it's very, very low. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why foreigners like to buy Singapore, because we have very low holding costs compared to Francisco, New York, Paris. You can see they have very high holding costs. Okay, so these are small little things that in the world, in the eyes of an investor, how are they comparing Singapore? Okay, and also I want to show you something interesting because we talk about holding costs, right? So we talk about interest rates. Okay, now just want to share with you, since I believe some of you have attended my trainings, but I just want to share again. Hopefully, you all can spread the message, because I just want you all to be very aware, what actually affects our interest rates. Okay, so just to share with you, okay, our Singapore mortgage interest is always pegged towards the US Fed rates. Okay, so during a crisis, during a crisis or during times of not so good performance, usually the interest will be low. Okay, so you can see during financial crisis, they're going to cut rates down, and then you will get very low interest rates. Okay, so it's pretty much similar to our mortgage rates. Okay, so these are all Federal Reserve rate in US, but our Singapore rates will be usually pegged towards these rates. Okay, so when the market starts to improve, for example, you can see in 2015, 2016, okay, they actually increased the interest rates, right? And of course, I think you guys own properties, okay, during the 2017, that time, I think my property interest shoot up to, if I'm not wrong, 3.2%. That time when I bought it was like 1%. Then suddenly I have no idea. I keep receiving letters every 3 months. Well, suddenly I see, my interest rate become 3.3%. Who's seen that? Okay, yes. Okay, so whenever market starts to recover, interest rates will go up again. Okay, so interest rate will go up, and then you see pandemic happen, right? So again, they got to cut their rates back again. Okay, so this is how the market works. This is how the interest rate works. Okay, so when the Federal Reserves, when the Fed's rates in US are cut, okay, it will actually affect Singapore rates. Okay, so of course we have our SIBOR or even SORA. Okay, I think they call it SORA. So you can see our interest rates today, okay, it's probably like 0.43 plus all your bank's spread. So easily it's 1%. Okay, so we are at its all-time low today. Okay, we are at its all-time low today. And if you look at overseas, because our spread is pretty thin, okay, so you can see our interest rates to be 1% because the banks probably only have a spread of 0.5 to 0.6. But if you look at the global interest, okay, this is how, again, we wear the lens of an investor. I want to invest in Malaysia. I want to invest in Indonesia. I want to invest in Australia. Okay, if I'm not wrong, before the pandemic, Malaysia is easily 4.5 to 5%. Australia, I was there, I look at it, it's also 5% minimum. Okay, 5% minimum. Okay, so this will eat into your profits right now. You eat into your profits. So although we have low rental yields, okay, our interest is also very low. What's the point of having a high rental yield? For example, if I buy Malaysia, my rental yield can be 4%. But if my interest is 3.5, again, it will eat into my profit. So you have to look at the correlation between the mortgage interest and versus, okay, the bank's interest. Okay, so you can see Singapore so much low. You can compare to the rest of our global cities. Okay, so this again attracts monies into Singapore. And of course, all these bank rates subject to change. Please don't take any screenshot. This one, always check with your banks or check with on your IERM. Just to show you our interest rates, I think low. I think even if you are privileged clients, probably can get like 1.1%, but on average, 1.2 to 1.3% today. Then you say, oh, Alex, wow, this is so low. But how does it translate? Yeah, I understand it's low. Yeah, I know it's yeah. So how do you translate to real profits? Okay, so guys, I'm going to show you a scenario. Okay, so imagine today they were to buy a $2 million property. Okay, $2 million property, which means they have a loan of 1.5 million. So if they were to buy it during the good times, okay, during the good times, they'll be paying an installment of 5,009. Okay, approximate, depends on their age. So approximate, just to give you some perspective, they pay an installment of 5,009. But if they were to buy it today, the installment probably is going to be around $5,000. That's a very big difference. So for those that are looking at rental yields and all that, so again, just an interest rate of 2.5% versus a 1.3%, it's really translated into real dollars. Okay, so this one, again, you have to take out your calculator and calculate, the worth for the client. Then, okay, my next question is, in the next 10 years, okay, how much money do you think the client would save by buying today? Okay, buying at 1.3%, okay, for the next 10 years versus, you're buying at 2.5. What is the real difference? How much savings do you get over 10 years when you have low interest rates? So I've done a chart. Okay, you can take a look at it. In 10 years, your savings will be $155,000 Sing dollars. Okay, in terms of interest saved. Okay, this again translate to real money, dollars. So you'll be making 150,000 more just because of interest rate savings. Okay, so this is just a chart to show you, if it's 2.5 and if they will convert to 1.3. So for those who have clients paying high interest today, please ask them to refinance. Okay, and also for those who didn't take action, you say, what are you waiting for? If you're going to buy during the good times, you'll be paying a good 2% interest already. So I think at the end of the day, it's all about affordability. If you can afford, why wait? Okay, so then, okay, when will interest rate rise? Who wants to know when will interest rate rise? Type to the chat. Yeah, I try to predict. Okay, so who wants to know when will the interest rate rise? Okay, during a good time, right? Now, let me show you something. In 2015, okay, let me go back history again. 2015, okay, during then, Yellen was the chairperson of Fed. So during then, okay, they actually they approved a hike in the rates then. Okay, it was the first time since 2006 because there was a financial crisis, and then after that, when things get better, if you remember the date, 2015, they say, okay, I think the market, should actually improve a bit. Let's raise the interest. This is where 2015, you see, it's all pretty predictable. When they said that interest rates start to climb, and if there wasn't a pandemic, it will continue to be the same, right? Or maybe increase. Okay, so this is when interest rate went up. Okay, so now this year is 2021. Okay, there was a news, okay, that actually stated the US Fed to pull back on stimulus. Maybe they will cut down, okay, start cutting down stimulus in 2021, most likely from December onwards. Okay, they will start to taper, okay, which means what? Okay, start to cut monies, and in turn, they may actually increase their interest rates. Okay, so take note. Okay, these are things that you can probably anticipate, unless they say that, okay, I decide to not do this year, I'll do it maybe next year. Then it's a different story. Okay, so as of today, we actually can understand when interest rate will go up. So if you want to lock in good interest rate, then go and lock in your lowest fixed interest for the next 3 years if you can. Just go and lock it down already, because this is as low as it can get. Okay, so the strategy is, of course, right, for Singaporeans, especially, and of course foreigners, when they buy, it's a buy and wait strategy. You can see all these years, regardless of SARS, financial crisis, H1N1, which we probably all forgotten. We probably forgotten SARS, and now today COVID. With COVID, price still went up. Okay, so for the past 3 years, it still went up regardless. Okay, despite the pandemic. Okay, so 12.8%. So this is how much property in Singapore, how much confidence people have in properties today. Okay, so the whole good strategy is, if you have the means, just wait it out. Okay, you will actually reap the profits. Okay, I hope you guys are learning good so far. Now, my last point. Okay, something also important. My last position to profit is what we call the rise in the ultra high net worth individuals, family officers. Okay, family officers. So this word was very, very new to me, like I think 3-4 years back. Okay, it was very new. So I was like, what is family officers? Okay, so for those who know, good. For those who don't, just to share with you, family officers, okay, are for those very rich people that they come to Singapore to set up. So in terms of the average family office, is approximately US $100 million. So it's like something like a trust. Okay, so it's a family office that help them manage their assets. Okay, so these people are coming to Singapore to set up family offices. They call it SFOs or FOs. Okay, so these are again monies coming into Singapore in very, very, very large amounts. Okay, they are not just $1-2 million. They're coming in more than 100 million in just one family office. Okay, so what is the trend today? Okay, so there's a lot of growth in the wealth in Asia. You can see a lot of people buying a lot of things, right, from the real estate in the past to today. You can see a lot of tech, technology, people buying up things in Singapore, right? They are getting new wealth, a new generation of wealth already. Okay, so they're coming to Singapore, okay, to do certain things, right? They're coming in to invest, to manage their money, okay, to have estate planning, to have family governance. A lot of family members may be very complicated, right? So they need a family office to manage for them. Philanthropy, okay, of course you have your administrative things, legal advice, legal counsels, business consultancies in terms of taxation and all that, and of course lifestyle. So we are probably at this part, lifestyle. Maybe I want to buy properties for lifestyle, or maybe we're at wealth management, right? So this is where they can actually buy properties from all these family offices. Okay, so why Singapore? Okay, we have a very strong regulatory framework. I think Singapore is very famous for our law. So law is important. Policies are important. Okay, we have a very established financial industry. Okay, everybody knows that we're a financial hub. Okay, we are stable. Okay, and a pro-business, government policies, because we are so small. Okay, so Singapore really needs to open up to the rest of the world. Okay, we are very highly regard for transparency. We are so transparent that all our transactions we can see, right? People can see. We are very transparent, and this transparency translate to confidence, right? It's very easy to do business. Okay, so where families and existing private bankers relationship, it's all here. They also have a skilled labor force, talent pools. I think Singapore we already have human resource as talents. Again, of course, that we have specialized investment teams in Singapore. So I think Singapore becomes the natural choice, for the growing, affluent, high net worth individuals. When they want to, have their money managed better, okay, they always come to Singapore. So there's a very big trend here. And also, why are they coming in? Okay, because we have this thing called the zero inheritance tax. Well, these kind of people, they're also worried. They're also worried that when they die, what's going to happen to their money? Sometimes we have no money, so we don't care, right? So, but for the rich, they have a lot of money, so they want to know, if they were to pass on, what happens? So in Singapore, we have actually abolished the inheritance estate tax in 2008. So in Singapore, we don't have such tax. But if you look at places like US, if your money is there, if you were to pass on, 40% of your wealth goes to the government. If you look at Taiwan, 10% goes to the government. If you look at UK, 40% goes to the government. If you look at Japan, 55% of all your monies go to the government. Look at Korea, 50%. So this is a lot of money. So they need to plan, right? Need to plan forward. So in Singapore, it's 0%. So it's going to be very painful with all these tax for them. But this is just one of the articles we pull out, the Samsung, the era of Samsung. They actually had a $6 billion tax, and $6 billion tax is like their 50%. So this again translates to real money disappearing, into to the government, right? So that's why tax planning to the high net worth individuals are very, very important. That's why they're always in Singapore. Okay, and all of these family officers actually will spur recovery, right? With the monies in Singapore, the banks, the accountants, the investors, they have to help the clients make money. They have to reinvest this money somewhere. They cannot just put it inside their family office and do nothing, right? So they can be buying stuff, investing in companies. So this will actually boost, again, spur the recovery, of all our economy. So if you look at now today, you can see Mr. Chan Chan-Sing actually said this year that there were 400 family officers operating here already. Okay, so this has actually doubled in 2022. So it's just like a matter of less than 6 months. Okay, less than 6 months from 200 to 400. Okay, so can you take out a calculator and just imagine if one family office is on average $100 million, and these people haven't really taken action yet. They're just putting the monies in Singapore, because you can see the dates. It's just April only, right? So now it's like August, September. Right now it's September, so it's already 9 months. So you can see these monies are here. Okay, not every dollar has been spent to invest yet. So take note. Okay, they are already here. We're waiting to what? Take action. Okay, so from here, if you know people or friends or lawyers, I don't know, accountants, or your buddies somewhere, somehow, if you can connect with them, if you can be their family agent, well, I think you're going to reap a lot of benefits from all these places. Okay, so family officers, take note, they have doubled, okay, from 200 to 400. Okay, and you can see the trend clearly, breaking per square foot, 4,800 this year. Okay, it's very big news. So all agents should know this news. Okay, so this kind of news are very important. This gives confidence for more buyers to come into Singapore. Okay, when they see this kind of news, 4,008, and if you look at other projects or 3,000, 3,005, they can put into perspective really. Okay, so people are buying up Singapore real estate, like this is the Wang group right now. They're buying the whole, 1 unit is too little for them. They must buy the whole project. Okay, so 4,008 per square foot this year, breaking the 4,800 mark, breaking 4,900. Places like Warwick, okay, they are breaking 4,900 per square foot. Okay, like Park Nova recently this year, they also broke the 5,800 per square foot. Okay, so with Park Nova, 17 units have been sold already. Yeah, so out of 54 units. So, and most of the, make a guess, are the big units to fly off the shelf first or the small units? Make a guess, put it into the chat. When the foreigners come here to Singapore, what type of units do they look at first? Can you put in the chat? Big or small? Just put in the chat. What type of units do you think they'll look for first? Yes, you're right. Okay, big units are their favorite. One headache only, they buy the biggest. Right? They don't want to buy so many small ones. Very, I have to manage 10 small units. They just buy one big one and that's about it. Okay, so they are always trying to find very big ticket items. Okay, so very big ticket items. Okay, so these are things that how investors are thinking. That's why usually the biggest units will also tend to sell first. Okay, so this will actually be a good representation because this development is by Shuntak. Okay, also in Hong Kong. So Perfect 10. Okay, again they have their own network in Hong Kong. Okay, so you have Hong Kong's network, you have China's network. Definitely you'll be able to fetch good prices. Okay, so 5,008, is it high or not? It's high to us. Okay, it's high to us, but it's not very high to them because in their country, just for the sake of education, showing you everything again. This year in February, Hong Kong, okay, Hong Kong, mid-levels, Ban Shan, okay, they broke the US 17,000 per square foot for a condominium, which translates to Sing dollars $23,300 per square foot. 23,000 per square foot, Sing dollars. Okay, this sets a new record in Asia. Okay, again, this is to show you, people's confidence to buy things in Singapore. Okay, so we are always talking about 3,000, 3,003, 3,005 per square foot, but people overseas are already looking at Singapore as what? Undervalued already. Okay, so this is just to put things in perspective. How are people buying this overseas? Okay, so I think I hope you guys are getting some great insights over coffee wherever you are. Okay, if you're driving, please stay safe. Okay, so I just want to do a quick wrap up. Okay, so I think today just want to highlight all these things to you, right? The 5 positions to profit. Number 1, our economy is reopening. Okay, so stand by for it. Okay, we're always going to have it's going to be a party, once the things start opening. Number 2, when it reopens, where are the first places to recover, right? Definitely the CCR segment, because it will actually give a lot of assurance to investors. So this is when they will come in. Number 3, whenever there's a freehold, it will give them a bit more confidence to tip the scale. Okay, so freehold, okay, because of a long-term legacy planning. Number 4, our interest rates are very low. Our property tax are very low. Okay, we have no inheritance tax. Okay, so holding on to a property here is like a no-brainer to them, right? It's low cost or a low holding cost, and ultimately, okay, we have to prepare, for the big whales. I call them the whales. Okay, they are here in big waves. They're buying like single levels, 10 units at a time. Okay, so we're very, very excited to have these people in Singapore, to buy. So I want you guys to really stay very focused in this market. It's going to have a lot of exciting things to come with you. Okay, so this is my last slide. We shall say, please prepare for the huge potential upside in the CCR luxury segment. Okay.
What are the 5 profits in Perfect 10? First of all, it's the branding and the track record. So not many people are aware, but it's not just only on the Marina area or also the Sengkang brand. Actually, they have a long history of record and also the branding. If you drive past the East Coast area, the East Coast, Upper East Coast, you'll realize that there's one very prominent project which is called Costa del Sol. That is also belongs to them. So you have the Thompson, they have the Marina area, they have the Upper East Coast area. And not only that, even in the Orchard, the Tenure Crest is also under them. So if you look at all those that they have done in this Coven area, whichever area, you will realize that this is very outstanding. Like Coven, they are really the star of project. For Thompson, probably that project is very grand. So how about Perfect 10? Perfect 10 will be another fantastic project, which I'll later share with you. So they have the branding not only in Singapore, they are also one of the largest developer in Hong Kong. We have a great track record, which I'll share with you later part. Now, how about second thing that you profit is the quality, not just basically the construction. You know that the construction has gone up. And to engage all these staff or workers, it's not going to be easy. But I'm quite confident that for this project, because you see, for Perfect 10, it's not a leasehold. Probably will, as what Alex has shared, you probably about 10 years return, which is much better than your 99 years leasehold. I'm referring to what he's sharing in the CCR. Ours is in the CCR. So if you want to stay long in this project, first of all, not just the branding, the track record, the quality also must be there. So this is the second thing that I'm quite confident that you will benefit, or your client who bought will benefit from the quality. There are one of the great examples which I'm going through later on. Now, third point is the place, which they are using the MA concept. Now, having the place means the location. The location means talk about the status. Bukit Timah has a long history. And in terms of it, this location having a great status. Opposite is the ACS, SCGS, and Hwa Chong. All these are all the famous schools are all around there. So there are also, besides that, there are 2 MRT stations. These 2 MRT, not just a station, it's the interchange, which today I don't have the time to elaborate more. Then I will probably share with more during the 28th part. Now next, the concept for demand concept is the void, which I'll spend more on the next few slides. This is just the first part of the demand concept. This is talking about the health, wealth, fortune, which I'll give you an example later on. And last but not least is the space, which represents a prestige lifestyle. So this project is mainly that you're having a 2 and 3 bedroom. It's very grand, but the detail is not out yet. Just stay tuned with us. Okay, if you look at it, ours is at the Perfect 10, is at the Bukit Timah. If you look at this map, we are not far away, within 2 kilometers from the shopping belt of Orchard. If you measure, it's not far. And you look at this, right? I mean, once the project is ready to stay, you will drive past the Bukit Timah. You will look at it, the landmark. It's the tallest projects in Bukit Timah area. If you look at it right now, it's very fantastic. It's very outstanding as compared to the surrounding nearby. With some of it is only about 5-story high or 12-story high. But unlike this project, you're comparing even at the Orchard area, the Goodwood area or Newton area, this project is going to be outstanding. It's a champagne gold. Now, let's come to the main part of this, the concept of Ma. Okay, in Chinese, this concept of Ma is a Japanese. Chinese is called Jian. I will explain what is Jian in the next slide. Now, basically, it's talking about, this project is talking about the all aspect of life, which include prestige, lifestyle, and status. So just now in the previous slide, I'm sharing with you is having a Bukit Timah address is the status. So I like some of the road name, which I will not going to mention. So one of it is for this project having a very great status in terms of the school nearby or the surrounding. Now next is the main thing is what we call the void, which allow other things to develop or to be found. Then next slide is, okay, this is the Chinese word of 间. Okay, for those who do not know the Chinese, it doesn't matter, which is basically that this Chinese word is talking about for those who own this property, the two buildings, which is 321 Bukit Timah Road and 323. This is a Chinese character. So there is a very close relationship for this word. This ri is your clubhouse. It's telling you that this clubhouse is not a normal clubhouse, which the next few slides I will share with you. It's a fortune clubhouse, which will help you to grow your wealth and your health as well, and other great things. That's how they come about this Chinese character. Now, how about why people asking me, some of them ask me, why you are sharing on this, developer want to share with all these 21 Borat Road? It's not that they are arrogant or what, which there's a very close related to Perfect 10, which you should share with your so-called prospect. Now, this unit was Asia record price, not many years. This was in February 2021. And the record price was 23,247. Now, how does it affect this Perfect 10? Okay, these are some articles that shared previously in February. Okay, it was done by them as well. Now, this 21 Borat Road, the developer is going to bring the whole concept to Perfect 10. That means this 23,000 that they sold is bringing over to this our project Perfect 10, but they are not selling at the record price. Now you look at it, just now I shared, right? There are many orchard areas that have a very record price or much higher price. Ours is about close to 10,000 over square meters, about 9,007, which is, we have a very wide frontage, which is benefit quite a number of the residents who stay or own for this project. I like quite some of the projects that the site area is very small, but the price is not cheap. So here you really have a luxury lifestyle. So for the left-hand side one is Hong Kong, is 21 Borat, which is they are going to bring this concept. How does it do? They do that. Now, this top one is the 21 Borat, which they have a long driveway. But how about Perfect 10? Same. You will realize most of the project in Bukit Timah or in CCR, they are trying to build as close as possible to the road. But for this project, there will be a 100-meter setback. Why they want to do that? So that you can maximize your view. So next one is, they are also going to have a high quality spec, not just only on 21 Borat. They are going to bring over to the Perfect 10, which you can see on the right hand side. Currently, the show flat is not ready. Likely to be launched during probably about November, maybe preview. The show flat will be open maybe about middle October or end October. Detail will be out soon. Next, also not just on the unit itself, but also at the lobby. Look at the lobby, and ours, the clubhouse, is very grand. And I think the table itself from the 𝗣𝗘𝗥𝗙𝗘𝗖𝗧 design is going to cost more than $500,000 alone. Now, what they want is that for this, I go and turn back of this. If you look at this on the clubhouse on the right hand side that belongs to Perfect 10, it's basically this is the fortune clubhouse. Everything all good one that will be benefit those people on the left and right, so that you can visualize it and share with your client.
With its long history of property development expertise, CK Asset Holdings has built many notable landmark buildings in Hong Kong, China, United Kingdom, and Singapore. CK Property Holdings is one of the largest developers in Hong Kong with market value of 298 billion Hong Kong dollars as at 28 February 2021. In February 2021, a 3,378 square foot penthouse unit in CK Asset Holdings 21 Borat Road luxury residential project in Hong Kong was sold at record-breaking price in Asia at 136,000 Hong Kong dollars PSF or 459 million Hong Kong dollars. CK Asset's track record, strong expertise, reputation, and financial strength has contributed significantly to the cityscape of Hong Kong and Singapore. Several joint venture and luxury residential properties in Singapore that represent the excellence of CK Asset Holdings include Marina Bay Financial Center, Marina Bay Residences, Marina Bay Suites, Karen Hill Crest, The Vision, Thompson Grand, and Stars of Coven. Invest in CK Asset Holdings Perfect 10. The next iconic masterpiece shall soon be in your possession.